Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Brooklyn. Today's video is going to be a spoiler-free reading vlog of If Only I Had Told Her by Laura Nolan. But before we begin, I will have to be asking those of you who have not read the first book of this duology to exit the video, because this video will contain a major spoiler that is revealed at the end of the first book. And if you have not read that book, I do not want to spoil it for you, but if you do not care, proceed with caution. If you guys are familiar with my channel, you would know that last year I read If He Had Been With Me, and that book absolutely crushed me. I just realized that I'm reading this book in August. I saw TikToks earlier this month. It's currently August 16th, so 8 days ago I saw TikToks about this book, and that's kind of what sparked me to want to read this. But I was thinking in my head, I was like, oh, would have been a perfect time to read this book? August. And I was looking at my Google Calendar the other day, and I realized that last year me put in the date for August 8th. If you guys do not know, that's the day that Finney died. And for some reason, I put it in my calendar. I think I just wanted to make myself suffer every year to remind myself of that date. And I was like, oh my gosh, I have not read the second book yet. So I thought it'd be fun to make a video for this, a little reading vlog of me reading this. It's almost like an anniversary of it. It's kind of sad. I was really excited to read this book, and then I started it, and then I soft DNF'd it. I don't know why. I think I just really wanted to be able to fully read it and enjoy it, and I didn't have time last year. So this video will be in memory of Finney. I'm very excited to read this book. The first book really changed my perspective of life. I don't know why it impacted me so much. I've seen so many split reviews for that book. Some people hated it, some people loved it, and there were like in-betweens and stuff. I really liked it. I didn't think the writing was bad or anything. I haven't heard much for the second book. I think I remember back when this was released that people were saying it wasn't really necessary for her to make a second book and that it didn't really feel like the first book. We shall see, and I will give you guys updates as I read this. And without further ado, let's get started. I wanted to come out here and sit and read for a bit. I read to chapter 3 this morning, and I basically reread the pages that I read last year. This is rough. It's really rough. I'm also re-listening to the playlist that I listened to when I read If He Had Been With Me. I'll put it on the screen here. Truly one of the most like emo, depressing playlists I've ever listened to, but I love it. It's so good. It fits these books so well. Big spoiler here, but obviously we know that Finney dies in the first book, and we're at the day where him and Autumn are hanging out more with his friend too, his friend Jack, when they built the fort, and they were just having a great time. And this whole time in these like first 3 chapters, all he's talking about is how much he loves Autumn, and if he's gonna have to go the rest of his life secretly loving her in the background, and it's hurting my soul. So I thought I would just update you guys with that. Some of the things this poor kid says is, my love for her is the closest thing I have to religion. Are you kidding me? Everything that he's talking about too, because we're getting the internal dialogue in his head. But my mother is wrong about the timing. This is not the weekend for that conversation. I need to get through today and breaking up with Sylvie tomorrow. After that, maybe I'll talk to Autumn, or maybe it should wait until Christmas. I don't know. Like, the biggest message I got from reading the first book is stop waiting in life, stop postponing, stop putting things off, because you literally, as morbid as it sounds, you never know when stuff might go hectic and crazy. Not to preach to you guys, but that's literally how I felt when I found out I had melanoma on my leg. I had no clue what that was, and I swear my life flashed before my eyes. I was so caught off guard by it, and I was like, no way. No, I was in denial. So obviously I'm better now and everything's good. But just in the moment, I was so regretful of things I haven't done or didn't bother trying to do. So ready to jump back into this sort of mindset. I know that this book is multiple point of views, I guess. So the first part is from Finney, and then the next part I believe will be like Jack, and then I think Autumn has a part. But I just wanted to give you guys a little check-in because damn, this book is hard to read. So I'm going to stay outside. It's really nice out right now. It has lately started to feel like fall. And why am I getting excited? I don't know what season I love. I can't find one. I like spring, but something's off about it. I just like the whimsicalness of it, but like in general, like the weather, it's kind of annoying. I love summer, but also I'm kind of anti-sun after my whole leg situation. But I do love the outside. Like being in the dry weather, I hate humidity. So like being in Idaho, it's nice and dry. But the fall time, man, it just has like this nostalgia to it. I don't know. It's just so good. But then winter, I also really like because the snow. But then it just gets to a point where it's like really depressing after that. So I don't know. I think summer and fall are my 2 contenders with like a little bit of love for winter. That's random. Let me know what your favorite season is down in the comments. Yeah, I'm gonna start reading. 4:54 a.m. as I am filming this. And you may be wondering, Brooklyn, why are you awake right now? The same question was asked by both the animals that are always occupying my room at night, Layla on my chair and Benny, who is always sleeping on my bed with me. They are both very confused right now as to why I'm up and why the light is on in such early hours. Long story short, I'm going on a trip soon and I feel very overwhelmed with the amount of reading and just stuff I have to do. So I can't really sleep. And I'm also wide awake right now for whatever reason. So I figured, why not take this time to be productive, ruin my sleep schedule, and read? I'm going to try and binge read this book. If I recall, if this is anything like the first one, I was able to read that one very fast. So I'm hoping I'll be able to get through this one real quick. I just wanted to update you guys because I will be most likely jumping from chapter 3 to very deep into the book, but I will give you guys periodic updates. You can't tell because the glasses, but I'm fully crying. I don't even know what page am I on. I'm on page 35. Reading this in the middle of the night isn't probably the best idea because I will be more emotional for whatever reason. The music is also making it 10 times worse, but I'm still in Finn's point of view and it is so sad. This boy is so in love with Autumn and just hearing it from his point of view and his inner dialogue, this is the part that really got me. Also, if Sylvie didn't ask him to come pick him up at the airport, he would still be alive. Like the thing with these books is it's just a build up to something that you know is going to happen, and every word that either Autumn said or Finny's saying is like, it's just hard to read. So this is Finny talking about his relationship with Sylvie. Says, over the past few weeks, it's become clear. I love Sylvie, but I can't say that I will be in love with her every day for the rest of my life. I adore so much about her and understand her foibles. I'd have never, hang on, we're just going to ignore that. But I'm not devoted to her. She's a partner, but not a part of who I am. Like, excuse me? And then he said, I know I will always love her in the same way I know I'll always need oxygen, talking about Autumn. If we get the internal dialogue of like what he's thinking in his last moments, I can't finish the book. There's no way. He's so in love with Autumn. I'm heartbroken about this. Like it is, I'm gonna bawl my eyes out. Crying count, we're at 1. And I'll let you guys know if I cry some more, which I most likely will, because I'm feeling very emotional about all of this right now. The tears have formed, but they did not drop. I would say I probably teared up and like almost cried 3 times reading Finn's part. I made it to page 149, which is the end of Finn's chapter. It just kind of recaps what happened with him and Sylvie. And so it's her fault because she wanted to go on a drive and then she wanted to get out of the car. And it's just like a stressful environment. You know what I mean? Like there's no need for it. And then he wanted to help her because it's Finn, of course. And he says, with the plan in place, I climb out of the car and run across the rain-soaked pavement to her. I fall to my knees in front of Sylvie, putting my hand to the ground. It's wet. And then it just stopped. I can't remember if Sylvie survived. I'm gonna have to look that up, even if it's a spoiler. Like, I just want to know. I wrote, like, his dialogue just stops. This is the end of him right here. This page is empty, and I know that's so dramatic, but he's literally cut off mid-thought. It says, it's wet, dash. He was cut off mid-thought. Like, that's just how it happens, though. I'm so sad. Poor baby. I don't know. He was just so in love and happy. So now the next part is Jax. I am gonna go to sleep. It's 4:38. I need to take a break, but I'm happy I got through a good chunk of this book. I feel better about it. The book is like 400 something pages. I'm close to halfway. I have like 50 pages until I'm at 200. I have finished Jack's part of this book. I didn't think his section would get me. Not that I didn't care, but I was just like, oh, it's Jack, whatever. You know what I mean? I want to hear what Autumn has to say. I want to hear more from Finney. And when I tell you guys, his parts of this book was so sad. It just cements how impactful this book is for me. But before I get more into talking about his little section, I was walking up the stairs and I was looking at the back and it said, if only I had told her that I loved her years ago, then I wouldn't be here now. When I was reading Finn's part, I was wondering, I was like, I wonder if he was thinking about her in his final moments. He didn't have a final moment because it all happened so fast, which is so sad. But I wanted to go through Jack's part and just kind of talk about some things that he said or like quotes that I really like. First, just in general, I think it's really interesting the way that Laura Nolan is able to capture writing grief. And I don't read a lot of sad books, so I don't know if other authors are able to do this as well, but I mentioned while reading the first book that her writing makes these characters feel so real. It's just something about these books just really hit home for me. It's just hard to not really immerse myself fully into this story because I can see everything so clearly. I have this like world built in my head for these characters and like where Finn's house is and Autumn's house and what it looks like, and just everything is just so sad to me. So while I'm reading Jack's point of view, it's really interesting because you're seeing his thought process in his grief and how he's mourning the death of his best friend. One thing that I have been seeing, I think the last time I was chatting with you guys, I was wondering if Sylvie survived the car wreck. She did, but she ended up with a concussion. That's what makes this story so much worse, is that Finn didn't make it out, but Sylvie did. I'm not saying she's not deserving of it, but she only walked away from that whole thing with a concussion. Like, it's just so sad. One point that was mentioned from Jack was that if Sylvie was wearing her seatbelt, none of this would have happened. And that's so true. So part of me kind of is mad at Sylvie, but then I've seen some people on TikTok be like, I don't know why people hate Sylvie because she has her own issues that she's going through, which is valid. And it's hard to just like point blame. I'm going to go through these. A lot of them are going to be out of context just because I just want to read some of my little favorite ones or very like obvious things that happen. I can't ask Finn what made him certain. I can't ask him anything anymore. He's never going to have a thought to share because his brain is no longer thinking. As I walk into his house, a house he'll never walk into again, I'm overwhelmed by the smell of Finn. Not that he smelled bad, but the way that everyone has a smell. It's part of their shampoo or whatever and part of them. I can smell Finn here in his house, though I'll never smell the whole of Finn again. I thought this was really interesting. He was talking about this story that they had to read in high school. It was about a boy who sees an apple change, but he doesn't understand how it changed, only that it changed somehow. And later you find out that he's seen in black and white his whole life and he was perceiving the red of the apple for the first time. And then later on he says, we're all dead bodies that haven't died yet. The apple was already red. The boy just couldn't see it. And I think that a lot of this is very morbid in my head when thinking about it because you don't want to dwell on the thought of death. Obviously, deep down, I really think our souls and like the things that we say and speak out into the world kind of fester and materialize in some way. So I think positive speaking obviously is the key to everything and just keeping a positive mindset. So you don't want to like focus on this stuff. But while reading this and like thinking about it, it's so crazy to think about because we all feel so invincible and we're really not. I think I mentioned this in the first video too, just like how fragile life is. Also, you learn kind of about the situation of how Finn died, and it's just, but obviously I'm thinking about Finn since it's the first run because he won't run again. I feel like Finn's death has rattled my brain. How many times am I going to remember that being dead means you're never going to do shit again? And I just see how Jack's processing all of this in the decisions he makes in his thought process. Everything is revolving around Finn. But Finn, the future doctor, ran to check Sylvie's breathing and pulse, ran to help her because of course that's what Finn would do. And then it kind of jumps forward, says, I cannot make myself believe that he would let any of us hurt like this. So Finn still isn't here with me, and there's not much else to say about college. Finn wouldn't be Finn if he didn't get out and go help Sylvie. You know, like it's just like that's just who Finn was. And then I said at the bottom, I said, oh, this is like the butterfly effect. It's so scary because it's something we have little to no control over. At least we can make choices, but we never know what the outcome will be. Oh my gosh. And then Jack finally talking to his roommate at college broke my heart. I just feel so bad. Like these poor babies are going through the worst things possible. I guess Brett is my friend, though I don't think he'll ever be a friend like Finn was to me. I used to make fun of Finn for pointing out particularly colorful trees. Little did I know that because of him, appreciating seasonal foliage would become a lifelong habit of mine. As I push the mower, I think about how the leaves above my head would soon be changing color and falling, and he won't see it. He won't see the new leaves in the spring. I think about how Finn will never vote in an election, local or presidential. I'd never cared about politics, but Finn has been looking forward to voting for a president for the first time. It doesn't seem like such a bad thing to start caring about. Sylvie's kind of coming around to me because she's grieving in her own way too. And obviously, she's not the cause of the accident, but she's like a piece of the accident. I don't know. I can't remember, someone mentioned it like that in the book, and I was like, okay, that makes sense. But Sylvie pauses and then says carefully, there's always things that we could have done differently. What matters is what we do now. And it's just, what's the thing, like hindsight's 2020. You know what's happened and you know what the right thing to do was after the fact. And then I thought also Jack was really sweet to Autumn when he saw her the second go around. But now I am on Autumn's part. The message in these books are so strong and powerful. And I don't care what anyone says, these books are beautiful and sad and real. Laura Nolan just captures everything so well. And it's like set, I don't think it's obviously modern times, it's probably later 2000s, and you could just like feel that vibe in there. I don't know. It's such a good book. I've been reading the book on the drive up here. I didn't read it the whole time. I'm on page 360 and there's like 390 something pages. So I finished If Only I Had Told Her. Before I get into my final thoughts and wrap ups, I just wanted to talk about Autumn's parts. So this is where I live, in a place where every shade of joy must be painted over in black of Finney's death, muted to the gray of willfully existing. You guys were never just friends, Autumn, and you know it. She studies my face. You know that everyone knew, right? I didn't know that there was anything to know, I say in a daze. You didn't know that Finn Smith was into you? She says it like I'm telling her I don't know my middle name. Everyone recognized it and she didn't. And then she started talking about like this analogy about dogs and how animals or dogs see each other in public. They kind of like freeze up. This like hidden communication that happens. Whenever you and Finn Smith would see each other at school or the mall or whatever, you guys would freeze for a split second. And then you'd be moving and talking again, but it was like part of you was still frozen, waiting for the other person to do something. And that's so true. Like the first book, you could totally feel. And it's hard when the source of our trauma is also a place where we once had joy or a sense of identity. This is very out of context, but she just said, just being near him made me feel more alive. And she was talking about Finn. Have you ever had something like that in your past, where when you look back, your feelings are so obvious and your thoughts are clearly lies to yourself? Overall, I would definitely say that I really enjoyed this book. I really want to read the first book again and just torture myself with it. That hurt from the whole plot line in the first book is still there. Like that wound is still there. Music from the playlist that I listen to opens it very much for sure. So I'm probably going to give this book 5 stars. I'm a little in between, maybe like a 4.75, 5-star. I gave the first book a 5-star, but I think I'm going to bump that up to a 6+ because truly that book makes me emo and I really love that book, as sad as it is. Like it's such a good. So I think I'm going to give this book 5 stars, maybe 4.75, but Jack's part really just sealed it for me and Finn's as well. I think Autumn's kind of slumped it for me. Her writing in this is just so beautiful in the way that she captured, I think, Jack's specific journey with healing and figuring out his grieving process with Finney and how they grow was really great. I think Autumn's was just like a little flat, but we also had a whole book of Autumn's point of view. I'm not gonna like let that dwindle this down because you just see the amount of love in this book and it's just so fleeting almost. I think it was a really great way to wrap this whole story up and it gave closure to each character, Finn especially because we didn't get his point of view really in the first book. I really love this book. I would recommend reading this duology. Prepare to be sad. It might not hit you as hard. For some people, they might not like this book, and for others, it was just okay. And then like for me, I'm on the other end of the line where this is like truly gets me and I feel a connection to these characters and I can see so clearly where they live in their houses and stuff. It's just like so sad to me, and the music, it's so sad. So that is it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed watching me read the second book. I have a reading vlog of me reading the first book last year in August on my channel. It's a little reading vlog, no spoilers. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Let me know if you guys have read this book and what your thoughts and opinions are on it. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.